Oh, we are on week 8. We are on part B for the language arts packet, page 3 at the bottom. I know some of you like to use this page to kind of check up or, behind to see if your child did the page right, or to check to see if you just need help to do the page in the first place for my students. So let's go over summarizing on page 3, part B. We're going to read the story. In this story, a character has a problem, and this problem needs to be solved. Those important ideas will be in a summary, and we will read the rest of the story. It's going to help us figure out what the setting of the story is. We have the notes section over here, and the notes gives us directions on what we are supposed to do. So we want to make sure that we are actually doing it. It says, underline the words that tell what the problem is. So as we're reading it, we're going to underline those words. Circle words that tell the first way that the kids solve the problem. Put a check by the paragraph that tells why the kids still have a problem. And then who comes up with a way to solve the problem. The title of the story is called Go-Go the Runaway Dog. I've numbered the paragraphs, so maybe you might want to do that so when I'm referring to certain paragraphs, you can be able to keep up. I put the number 1 here next to where's. Paragraph 2 next to the word did. Paragraph 3 next to in seconds. Paragraph 4 next to we can't. And paragraph 5 next to we have. Oh, and I just realized there is another paragraph. I didn't go all the way down. We have paragraph number 6. And I'm just going to circle it so it kind of pops out to the eye. Okay, so let's get ready to read. Again, we're going to read it the first time through just for enjoyment, and then we'll go back and start filling in the parts for the notes. Go-Go the Runaway Dog. Where's Go-Go? Asked Mike. He stood at the back door and looked out into the yard. He saw some flower pots and wooden chairs, but there was no dog anywhere. The gate to the fence was open. Go-Go had opened the latch with his nose again. Did that dog get out again? Asked Mike's sister, Jean. I know how to get him back. Jean brought the box of dog treats to the back door. She held up the box and shook it. The crisp dog treats rattled inside. Go-Go, called Jean. Treat. In seconds, Go-Go was running back through the gate. He jumped up and down. Jean gave him a treat. Meanwhile, Mike closed the gate. We can't keep shaking the dog treats to get Go-Go back home, said Mike. What if Go-Go runs too far away to hear us? What if he gets hurt? We have to change the latch on the gate, said Jean. That way he won't be able to open it. That's a fine idea, said Mike. Let's tell Mom and Dad our idea tonight. Go-Go, your days as a runaway are over. Okay, so now we have read the story Go-Go the Runaway Dog, and let's check the notes section. Underline words that tell what the problem is. So we're going to start at paragraph 1 and try to figure out what is the problem in the story. Where's Go-Go? Asked Mike. Is that the problem? He stood at the back door and looked out into the yard. We still don't know what the problem is yet. Sort of, but not exactly. He saw some flower pots and wooden chairs. Does that tell us what the problem is? No. But there was no dog anywhere. No dog anywhere. That could be part of the problem. We can underline that sentence. The gate to the fence was open. That's definitely a problem. If it's supposed to be closed. Go-Go had opened the latch with his nose again. More problems. So that helps us to know what the problem is. We know that there's a dog named Go-Go. We know that he's supposed to be in the backyard. But the fence was open. The dog was missing. And they said he had opened the latch with his nose again. So we know the problem. The next note says, circle words that tell the first way the kids solve the problem. So let's keep going to see how they solve the problem. Did that dog get out again? Asked Mike's sister, Jean. I know how to get him back. Jean brought the box of dog treats to the back door. Did we see how they solved the problem yet? No. We see that they're still doing things, but we don't know how this is going to help solve the problem. She held up the box and shook it. The crisp dog treats rattled inside. Gogo called Jean, treat. In seconds, Gogo was running back through the gate. He jumped up and down. Jean gave him a treat. Meanwhile, Mike closed the gate. So let's think. Circle words to tell the first way the kids solved the problem. Well, Jean went and got the dog treats. She shook it. Let's see. Box of dog treats to the back door. But we can just circle dog treats. I don't even need to underline all that. She shook it. And what happened when she shook the dog treats? Yeah, she also yelled out his name. And she said, treat. And then Gogo came running back through the gate. He heard the treats. He came running back. Put a check mark by the paragraph that tells why the kids still have a problem. Well, Gogo came back here. We see Jean gave him a treat. Meanwhile, Mike closed the gate. So he came running back and they got him back in. But it does not tell us in this paragraph why there's still a problem. We didn't see that in 1 and 2 either. So let's go down to paragraph 4. We can't keep shaking the dog treats to get Gogo back home, said Mike. What if Gogo runs too far away to hear us? What if he gets hurt? Why do they still have a problem? Let's read a little bit more just to be certain. We have to change the latch on the gate, said Jean. That way he won't be able to open it. Why do the kids still have a problem? We know it's not in 3, maybe in paragraph 4 or 5. Well, we know he can still open the gate. So we're looking for the one that shows that he can still open the gate. Right here, they said he could run too far away. He might not be able to hear them. Hear the treats being shook, and he might get hurt. So we're going to put a check mark next to paragraph 4 because it's showing why this gate issue is still a problem. Finally, who comes up with a way to solve the problem? Looking back, this is what Mike said. We can't keep shaking the dog treats to get Gogo back home. That doesn't tell us how he's going to solve the problem. What if Gogo runs too far away to hear us? What if he gets hurt? That's still Mike talking or speaking. We have to change the latch on the gate, said Jean. That way he won't be able to open it. Jean is suggesting how they can solve the problem. So Jean, in paragraph 5, so I'm going to write down here, Jean. Okay. She's the one who comes up with an idea. She says, we need to change this latch because he's just going to keep opening this gate over and over again. So now we have looked in, we've kind of pulled out some important parts. We know that we've underlined parts, circled parts, checked off parts. Let's see how we can put this together. Step 2, next page. Using a plot chart, figuring out these important events. Plot chart for Gogo the runaway dog. Here's how the story begins. Mike looked in the yard for the dog. Here's the problem. Gogo has opened the gate and ran off or run off. The characters find a way to solve the problem for now. So they figured out, they shook the box, he came back. They find a way to solve the problem for good. They plan to put a different latch on the door. So this is what happened in the story in sequential order, 1 through 4. Using this plot chart, what's the best summary for Gogo the runaway dog? Circle the letter of the best answer. Now be mindful, we're looking for only the ideas that are the big ideas, the most important ideas to determine what is the summary or what is the best summary. Now there's sometimes trick answers that are going to be very close to the right answer, but it's not going to be the right answer. So we want to look through all of them. So let's read all the choices, A, B, C, and D, before we select one. We can try to eliminate some though also. Using the plot chart, what is the best summary for Gogo the runaway dog? Circle the letter of the best answer. Let's first look at A. Gogo is gone from the yard. Jean shakes the dog treats and calls Gogo's name. Gogo runs back to get a treat. So is this the best summary? Does this tell us what the story is mostly about? Yes, Gogo was gone from the yard, but it does not tell us how Gogo got out of the yard. It does tell us how they got Gogo to come back into the yard, but it's missing some parts to tell us. Let's go to the next one. B. Mike sees that the dog is gone from the yard. Jean asks if the dog has run off again. She uses dog treats to get Gogo back. Gogo comes back. He jumps up and down. Jean gives Gogo a treat. The kids know that the dog will run away again. They think about what they can do to keep Gogo at home. Then they think about changing the latch on the gate. Mike says that they should tell their parents about their idea. Okay, so it tells us about how the dog is missing, how Jean asks if the dog is run off. It tells us all the steps bit by bit. So this could possibly be the summary. We're just going to leave it there to see. I definitely don't think it's going to be A, so I'm just going to draw an X through A. Let's look at C and D before we make a decision. C. Mike sees that the dog is gone from the yard. Gogo knows how to open the gate. Jean gets Gogo back with dog treats. The kids worry that he'll run away again, so they plan to change the latch on the gate. This tells us different parts, important parts. We know Mike is looking for the dog in the yard. We know that Gogo knows how to open that gate. We know that Jean gets him to come back by shaking the treats. We know that they're thinking about changing the latch on the door. So, okay, it could be B or C. Let's look at D. Mike looks out into the yard. Jean comes to the door and shakes a box of dog treats. The two kids talk. They make a plan to change the latch on the gate in the yard. This one right here does not talk about how Gogo gets out of the yard. Does not talk about how they get him to come back in the yard. It doesn't really talk about Gogo at all. So I don't think D would be a good choice. So we cross out D. So we now know the answer is between B and C. Remember, with a summary, we only want the summary to include the big ideas, the most important ideas, and not all the little bitty details. So based on that, we can figure out what the answer is going to be. With B, it says Mike sees that the dog is gone from the yard. C says Mike sees that the dog is gone from the yard. We can agree that that is true. With B, it says Jean asks if the dog has run off again. She uses dog treats to get Gogo back. With C, it says Gogo knows how to open the gate. Jean gets Gogo back with dog treats. With B, it says he jumps up and down. Jean gives Gogo a treat. The kids know that the dog will run away again. Down here it says the kids worry that he'll run away again. Here it says they think about what they can do to keep Gogo at home. Then they think about changing the latch on the gate. Mike says that they should tell their parents about their idea. Down here it says so they plan to change the latch on the gate. Which one has mostly the main ideas, the main details that summarizes the story? Circle the answer that makes the most sense for you. Well, while they both are very close, only one is the right answer. B and C both tell important details in them, but B gives extra information that's not needed. It tells us that Jean asked if the dog has run off again. It tells us that Mike says that they should tell their parents about their idea. It's giving extra information that we don't need. This one gives us all the big ideas about what happens and summarizes it perfectly. So the correct answer will be C. Okay. So you have to be very very careful rather, because as I told you, they will have answers that are very close to the correct answer. It's a trick to see if you're paying attention. Nice job.